How's it going, everyone? Data here, and welcome back to our Detroit Red Wings franchise mode series here on NHL 26. Moving into episode number 14 for the year number 4, 2029 postseason as reigning Stanley Cup champs. In the last one, it was once again way too close for comfort as we just squeaked into the postseason, yet we're one of the best teams in the NHL. As you can see on the right side of your screen, we were second best in the league for goals for, fourth best in goals against, sixth best power play, third best penalty kill, and a 44-31-7 record, which had us be the 7th best team in the NHL points-wise, yet we made it to the postseason in a wildcard spot in the Atlantic Division. 4th in the Atlantic, but 7th in the entire NHL. Crazy to think about that. So, hey, we won the Stanley Cup last season in similar fashion with not squeaking in a wildcard spot. And I wouldn't even call this one squeaking. It was just, like I said, too close for comfort. But we made it to the dance. Now it's time to see what we do on the dance floor. Like I just said with the goals for, goals against, super high. What was really high as well, just to shout this out, our shorthanded goals for, we had 18, 6 more than any other team in the NHL, and led the league in that regard. So a crazy thing to think about. Our penalty kill last episode at the halfway point was doing all right. It was around the, I think it was 15th or 16th in the NHL. Intelligent Dice said, the forwards are doing well, but maybe just switch up the defense a little bit. We did that, and boom, we ended with the 3rd best penalty kill in the league and the most shorthanded goals at 18. Crazy stuff. So nice to see some of those AGM thoughts that always come to fruition. That's what this series is. It's, yes, me pulling the trigger on decisions, but it's the AGMs coming together. And now here we are moving to the postseason with more AGM thoughts to think about. Because in the last one, yes, super successful season, but with being top 6 in every single category there on the right side of your screen, how did we finish? Yeah, again, top 7, but how was it really so close in the Atlantic Division? A lot of you had to say it was probably the star power that didn't come through as much as previous years. Lucas Raymond, for example, was on pace for 88 points. He ended with 76. Last season, he had 85. The year before that, he had 80. So 76, is that a bad season? No, not at all. But it's not quite what we were expecting from a guy who scored 85 last year and was on pace for 88 at the halfway point. And with 76 was a bit of a letdown. So all that to say, Dylan Larkin, 35 goals, 81 points from the captain. Old man John Carlson, Uncle John at 39 years of age, 88 overall, puts up 74 points, the highest since his years in Washington, of course. Taylor Radish, who came back, it was a question mark. He did so well, but do we have room for him to come back? We made the room. He stayed. He was a plus 41 with 64 points, career high numbers. I'm super glad we did keep him here. A big piece of our Stanley Cup run last year, 21 points in 28 games with 13 goals. Marco Kasper, career year, 61 points. Another guy who fell off a little bit on a 70-point pace. Still a career high 61 points. A lot to be happy about. Just a few areas where we're trying to pinpoint where did some of the struggles come from. It was mostly some of those top 6 players not meeting their first half pace. Tuukka Riisanen in his sophomore year scores 33 goals and 55 points, getting those first line minutes, 19:38 of ice time per night in his sophomore year. Aho, Cowan, Sandin Plika, all with 44 points, but all drastically different roles. Max Aho, top 6 winger, playing 15:33 of ice time. Easton Cowan, 3rd line center, playing 12:59. And Sandin Plika, a second pair defenseman. Yes, a lot of ice time, but second pair defenseman, all the same amount of points. So we need to see something like last postseason from Max Aho, who went, was it point per game? Yes, 28 and 28 last postseason, where every series went to 7 games. We got to have some stamina in this one. Fyodorov, 25 goals and 43 points. He did better on the 3rd line than on the 2nd line, so good to see that change at the halfway point in the season. Moritz Seider, 42 points. Edvinsson, 40 points. All 4 of our top 4 defensemen scoring 40 points or more. That must be somewhere in NHL history. Top 4 defensemen all scoring 40 points or more. I'm sure it's happened often enough, but it can't be that it's every season that teams do that, right? Kevin Fiala, we're treating him as our own rental on an expiring deal. Didn't really do anything too special. 15 goals, 39 points. His shooting percentage was way down, but he's treat him like a rental. Ryan O'Reilly was the big acquisition last episode around the trade deadline, as he scored 7 points in 21 games as a Red Wing, a +4 to boot, and doing exactly what we would want as a 4th-line centerman. So ROR, great to have him and his pedigree in the lineup. Ricky Sierra, and some in the comments saying, is it Sierra? Possibly, I've been saying Sierra, you can all let me know, but the rookie Ricky Sierra, who didn't have a lot of ice time because of Kevin Fiala being in our top 9, he'll have absolutely a bigger role next season. I'm sorry that your rookie season wasn't anything too crazy, Ricky, but still 14 goals, respectable enough. Dower Nilsson, 20 points on the 4th line, playing under 8 minutes per night. Another guy who needs to get ice time. Labushkin and Ferraro were a crazy 3rd pair, both +20 and 21 respectively. Sissons, 15 points in 61 games, -2. That's why we swapped him out for Ryan O'Reilly. Well, that's why. Just that he was the odd man out with ROR coming in. And for the goaltending, Jesper Wallstedt went 28, 20, and 7 with 3 shutouts, a .910 save percentage, and 2.82 goals against average. While backing him up, it was Trey Emperor Augustine going 16, 14, and 0 with a shutout of his own, .920 save percentage, and 2.57 goals against average. So 2 very good goaltenders on top of John Gibson, the 80 overall, as our third goalie, who led us to the Stanley Cup last year. Hopefully, voodoo permitting, the goaltending shouldn't be our biggest issue. Maybe it'll be an issue, but it shouldn't be our biggest issue. I think consistency for the top 6 scoring is going to be a bigger area. That being said, having gone over all the seasons that were and looking at the lines right now, let's dive into some thoughts left by the AGMs in the last one. First comment that I thought was really good, coming in from one of our channel members, Intelligent Dice, who said, this team won a cup, and like many cup winners, they started pacing themselves to peak in the playoffs. I like that perspective. Very well said. And Gavin liked it too. Gavin's comment saying, hey Data, another playoff appearance, and I agree with Intelligent Dice. They are just pacing themselves for the playoffs, hopefully. We obviously deserved more wins than we had, given that we were near the top of the league in every stat, so I don't think there's too much to do other than let them play and see what happens. The only change I might make is swapping Radish and Fiala. I'm so glad we signed Radish, and he had an excellent season. We'll see if he can carry over some of last year's playoff magic. But yeah, after they blew away our expectations last year, let's see what this team has got. Let's go Red Wings. Thank you, Gavin. So yes, the players who most excelled last postseason, Kasper, Aho, Radish, Fyodorov, they're all in the middle 6 right now. Do we preemptively promote them, kind of hoping that they catch the spark that they had from last season? And by that, I mean maybe putting even one or more of them onto the first line? Or do we let the first line be the first line, put the top overall guys out, let Larkin and Raymond stick together, play around with the middle 6, see how it shakes out? There's been some discussion about that. In Sam's comment, if you jump down to the second paragraph, in terms of the big question where I said, what was the big problem? The answer in my mind is rather obvious, says Sam. It was our top-end point production that did us in, or rather the dip therein. I put the majority of the fault, however, on Lucas Raymond, whose pace slowed too significantly to ignore, as opposed to Larkin, who was only a few points off, or Risanen, who's only 20 years old. My solution is to shake up the top 6, move Raymond down to the second line, and promote Max Aho, and see if that wakes up the top 6, or at the very least, garners a response from those who struggled. Other than that, I don't know much else to do. Maybe promote Fyodorov and Radish and then demote Fiala and whoever else is struggling the most, but I'd at least give my first suggestion a try before making bigger changes. Also, I'd take another look at the power play and see if there's a tweak to be made, though I have no specific suggestions on that front. In any case, it was a great video as always, and I look forward to the playoffs. Here's hoping for another deep run. Let's go Red Wings. Thank you, Sam. Playoff, the special teams were good enough that I'm going to say let's at least start and we'll go from there. But for the top 6, I hear what people are saying. I'm not sure if I want to take Raymond off of the top line just yet, but I do agree that putting Fiala on the third line and probably a swap with Taylor Radish makes the most sense, would be the move. So Aho can stay there, Radish on the left wing, even though he's a right winger. So I think just a little swap in the middle 6 will be what we start with, and let's see how Risanen does as a first liner in the playoffs. Let's see how our top overall guys do together when the rubber meets the road. And does Max Aho, Victor Fyodorov, Marco Kasper, do they recapture that spark as I mentioned? Let's watch and find out. So thank you to everyone who left some thoughts moving into this postseason. We'll do that as the first suggestion, and from there make tweaks as the postseason rolls on, as we always do. Here are the forwards, here's the defense, and for the goaltending, Jesper Wallstedt will get game 1 of the postseason, and we'll go from there. Don't forget what John Gibson did last year. If we need to turn to him, we will not be afraid to do so. Looking at his playoff stats last year, 13, 7, and 4, 3 shutouts, .922 save percentage, 2.49 goals against average, Stanley Cup champion John Gibson to you. And the Jennings back in 2016. How about that? So we're going to start the postseason looking like that, going up against the New York Rangers, who, even though they finished below us in the NHL, won the Metropolitan Division going 46-33-3. They ended the season going 4-6-0. We ended the season going 5-3-2 in our last 10 games. And they do have a lot of star power in this lineup, but the scoring wasn't anything too crazy. It was more defensively where they shine. So Lafreniere, Trocheck, Perreault as the top line. Guys didn't have crazy seasons. Perreault, 50 points for him. Trocheck, just 48. And Alexis Lafreniere, 46, so only 46 points. Second line, Panarin had 51. 51, though, in how many games? That was 51 in 66. Then Zibanejad had 52, and Patrick Kane, who will always simulate well, 40 years old, 34 in 44. Interesting. Sikora, Nelson, Miller, third line. Cooley, Edstrom, Amadio on the fourth line. Defensively, Gavrikov with Adam Fox, who had something like 72 points. Yeah, 72 and 82. Emery with Shillington, and Morrow with Schneider on the third pair. High overalls there, Schneider and 86 on their third pair. And Igor Shesterkin, 91 overall. Over the course of this year, a 920 save percentage, 2.65 goals against average, 5 shutouts, 35 wins. Yet last postseason, as we see, 0-3, 0-3-1 in 4 games, 891 save percentage. The bigger they are, the harder they fall when it comes to overall for your starting goaltender in EA land. Backed up by Schmid, Rempe, Lehkonen, and Rust as the healthy scratches. Rempe, 6'7" centerman who never takes faceoffs. Yeah, of course. Thank you, EA. And there you have it. So the Rangers were a stronger team defensively on the right side of your screen here. Yeah, so they were 16th in the league for goals for. We're scoring more than a half goal per game above them. But goals against, they were second in the league compared to us in fourth, only 0.09 better than us. So, I don't know. Power play 25th, penalty kill 13th. Let's let the talking be done on the ice for Game 1, Round 1, starting off here at MSG, Madison Square Garden. The reigning Stanley Cup champions are hungry not only to go back-to-back, like we said, but to continue towards our ultimate goal of restoring the empire that was and that will continue to be the Detroit Red Wings. So here we go, kicking off Game 1. As we always say, the video will be at least an hour, but something between an hour 20, hour 45 in length. I always keep it random. If it ends up that we lose in round 1 or round 2 and it's just a black screen for 45 minutes or whatever, letting it run a little bit would be very much appreciated for the performance of the video. But reacting live with me along the course of the postseason is always my favorite. So I hope that you'll enjoy the episode. Leave a like if you haven't already. And let's do the first period where the Rangers find themselves up 2-0. Edstrom and Miller, 2 goals coming from the bottom 6. They've doubled our goals. I guess, well, if you can say 2 is twice of 0, I guess not. But while we're doubling the shots, 14-7. Second period, no scoring. Shots are 27-14. The Rangers got 7 shots in the first and 7 shots in the second, while we have 27 shots in 40 minutes, but we are being shut out by Shesterkin right now, down 2-0. Third period here at MSG. Who's going to break the ice? And it's Axel Sandin Palika making it 2-1. Power play Red Wings. That strong power play is fended off by the Rangers. We're now within 1 with 5 minutes to go. Shots 35-22. Sandin Palika got 1, but we can't get another as Fox, who scores on Augustine, by the way, plus an empty netter from Lafreniere, and we'll drop Game 1 by a score of 4-1 as Shesterkin stands tall, and it looks like Wallstedt is. I wonder if he got injured, just like last postseason in the first round. Shesterkin first star honors, or did he get pulled? I don't know what. And Edmondson has a sore knee. Wonderful. So Jacob Bernard-Docker will come into the lineup. And how are we going to do this? I guess Sandin Palika is going to go top pair with John Carlson. Ferraro's going to come second pair with Sider, +3/+3. And Bernard Docker is going to play third pair with Lyubushkin. And then for the goaltending, yeah, I knew it. Jesper Wallstedt is injured. To what degree, we'll find out. Oh my goodness. How many games did he play last year before getting injured? Jesper Wallstedt, he allows, let's see, he allows 2 goals on 9 shots and then is pulled due to injury. Last season appeared in 5 games. So in 26-27, we lost in the first round anyways. But in 2028, he appeared in 5 out of the 28 games, going 3-0-2. But here, yeah, 778 save percentage, and he's out for how long? We don't know. Let's back out and see if the game will tell us. No, it will not. So here we go. Injury report. Injury report on Jesper Wallstedt. Will Augustine have to be going here? Pending evaluation. So they know how long it's going to be. They'll tell you on the main screen. But if you come and look at injury report, oh, no, now we don't know. Pending evaluation. Okay, so Edmondson out and Wallstedt out. Trey Augustine will start Game 2. Okay, that's down in Grand Rapids. Let's see if we have any information by Game 2 here. And Augustine did well in his 1 appearance, 933 save percentage, only letting in 1 goal, that's true. Injury report, now do we know anything? No, still pending evaluation. So I'll go ahead and fix up the lines. Augustine will start and Gibson will back up. We knew this was a possibility, and now here we go. I'll just fix up the defense on those special team units and whatnot, and then we'll get ready for Game 2. All right, so Game 2, here we go. The true goaltending duel starts now. Shesterkin versus Augustine. Here we go at MSG, trying to even up the series, make it a best of 5, headed back to Little Caesars. First period, 1-0 Rangers. Zibanejad opening up the scoring. Once again, shots in our favor. Almost 14-7 again, this time 14-8. Not 2-0, but it's 1-0. Second period, and it's 2-0 now. Power play Rangers. We've scored 1 goal in 5 periods on Igor Shesterkin, outshooting the Rangers like 50 or 60-something to 30-something by now. 26-17 the shots in our favor through 40. Yeah, we're down by 2 headed into the third period again. Power play Rangers killed off by our penalty killers, but we need one of those famous shorthanded goals, and Schneider makes it 3. 3-0 Rangers, and Igor Shesterkin is completely bamboozling us. Time for some offensive changes. John Carlson scores. Both of our only goals in this series have come from defensemen. 0 goals from our forwards. 0 goals from our forwards in 6 periods of hockey. Shesterkin once again making 35 saves as the first star of the night. Now holding, let's see it, a 972 save percentage. And Augustine had a 909. It wasn't even Augustine's fault. If we, like, imagine, if it was 4-3, I could say, too bad Augustine couldn't save one more. But if it's 4-1, you can't blame him. So now down 2-0, losing both on the road. We got to win both at home, and it's time to make some changes right away, like even drastic ones. So let me play around with this and see what I can come up with. All right, so it might be a little crazy, but this is what I'm thinking. Fyodorov, who has shown his affinity to score in the postseason, with Larkin and Aho as the playmaker as the +5 first line. Second line, Raymond, Kasper, Radish. Third line, let's try Reason in a reduced role with Cowan and another scorer being Ricky Sierra, or shooter, I guess you could say. Fourth line, Fiala, who we just can't trust, I guess. Let's try him in an even more reduced role with O'Reilly and Dower Nilsson. Defensively, we're just going to swap Lyubushkin and Ferraro. He did not do well with Sider, -4. So let's try him going third pair with Bernard Docker, and we'll keep Lyubushkin with Sider, as we're still waiting to see about the injury report or whatever. So here we are for Game 3. Any update on that? Okay, so Wallstedt, April 27, 3 more days. Edmondson, Sorny, May 2nd, a little bit more than that. So I don't even know if Wallstedt would play, but out for at least 2 more games. And Edmondson, probably the entirety of round 1, no matter what happens. So that's not great for the defense. We've seen great results from Bernard Docker in the past. We dropped both games on the road, 4-1, 4-1, scoring 2 goals in 6 periods, both by defensemen, 0 goals from our forwards. Now's the time to show up at Little Caesars Arena with the Stanley Cup banner above our heads. The 2028 banner is waving above us at center ice. Here we go for the first period at home, and it's 1-0 Red Wings. Marco Kasper starting things off for us. Another 14-shot first period. Well done. Keep it up. Second period, 2-1. Dylan Larkin gives us the 2-0 lead, and then Brock Nelson late in the first, 6:51 to go in the second, makes it a 2-1 game. Shots 23-22 in our favor. We once again lead in shots moving in the third period, and now we have a 1-goal lead. Make it 2. Viktor Fyodorov, the Russian Riptide, making it a 2-goal cushion for us now. Fearless Fyodorov, the Russian Riptide, 3-1 Red Wings. Gavrikov comes back, making it a 3-2 game. 5:30 to go. We need to hold on tight and close this out. One more would go a very long way with 1:30. And Sandin Pellikka adds the empty netter to make it a 4-2 Red Wings victory. Shots end 37-34. Trey Augustine with a big performance. Not even a star, though. Larkin and Sandin Pellikka with a goal and 2 assists apiece for first and second star, respectively. And Fyodorov with a goal and an assist, playing that first line role, getting the 3rd star. All right, so we win by a score of 4-2. Very nice. Augustine, 923 save percentage. Shesterkin still at 953. And we're going to keep the exact same lineup moving into Game 4. Now down 2-1. This is a huge game. We either go down 3-1 and have to win 3 in a row, or we go back to MSG with this being a best of 3. Here we go, gentlemen, at Little Caesars Arena. Bring that same passion and intensity. 2 goals from the top 6. Let's see some more. First period, it's 3-0 Rangers. Schneider shorthanded 44 seconds in. Then Patrick Kane and Artemi Panarin, 3-0. Shots tied at 13, and we're down 3-0. Make it 4. 4-1 after the second. Lucas Raymond gets 1, and we're down by 3 in the third period. We're down but not out. Outshot 34-19. Oh my goodness. What has been wrong with this team? It's just the voodoo caught us. The voodoo caught us. I opened the PlayStation at the wrong time, and the voodoo caught us. 5 minutes ago, and we have once more score only 1 goal on Igor Shesterkin. Outshot 42-30. As Augustine does his best, but it's not enough. Allowing those 3 in the first on 13 shots killed us. And we now must win 3 games in a row, and it must be yet another 7-game victory if we're going to make it. Wallstedt now available. I wonder if Edmondson has a playable injury. It says multiple players. Yes, Edmondson now playable injury. Do we play Simon Edmondson? I think we do. So I'm going to fix up the lines here. I think Wallstedt's going to stay out. I don't know. Trey Augustine. No, Gibson is starting. Gibson is going to start. And if we lose, we lose. Gibson is starting. It might be a little wild. And Edmondson will come in, and the forward lines are going to see another little bit of a shakeup here because there's still guys like Aho 0 points -2, Radish 1 assist -1. Risanen 0 points -4. Cowan 0 points -4. Sierra 0 points -5. Okay, give me a minute. All right, needing to win 3 games in a row. Here's how we're going to look. Fyodorov, Larkin, Raymond top line. Raymond did okay in the second line role, so let's try him back on the first with Larkin, but now Fyodorov the finisher instead of Risanen, who was original one game 1. Second line, Risanen, Kasper, Radish. Third line, Fiala, O'Reilly, Aho, +3. Fourth line, Dower Nielsen, Cowan, Sierra with the +2. Defensively, Sandin Plika and Seider now instead of Carlson. Edmondson will play second pair with Carlson, still playable injury. And Labushkin, Bernard Docker on the third pair because Ferraro's a -4 still. And goaltending, John Gibson's going to get the start with Augustine backing him up. There's not much to lose at this point, so we're just going to have to give it our best. Sandin Plika is doing an incredible job, but the forwards are not getting anything past Igor Shesterkin. Credit to him. But, and actually, by the way, it says Augustine's the starter. Hold on, because when I backed out at advance today, so I put him back the starter. No, John Gibson getting the start. All right, John Gibson, you did it last year. I need you to do it again. Here we go at Madison Square Garden. We dropped both games by a score of 4-1 in games 1 and 2. Now we need to win 3 in a row, including 2 on the road. If there's a team that can do it, it's this one, a team that won all 4 series in 7 games last year. We got to win 3 in a row, down 3 games to 1 against the Metropolitan Division winning Rangers. First period, and it's 1-1 after 20. Trocheck opens it up, but Fyodorov with his second line since being promoted to the first line. With his second goal, since being promoted to the first line. Shots 13-9 for the Rangers after 20. Second period, 2-1 Red Wings. Fyodorov once again, the Russian Riptide. 3 goals in 2 games since being promoted to the first line. Shots are 24-22 for the Rangers, but we're hanging on with a 2-1 lead. We need more. This cannot be where we stop. This needs to be where we accelerate, pedal to the metal. Power play Rangers. Shorthanded goal, Lucas Raymond. Yes, 18 on the season. And Ryan O'Reilly up on the third line. Trocheck power play goal there on Gibson. And Sikora gets a quick one. 2 quick goals in like 20 seconds. It's a 4-3 game. No! Morrow ties it at 4! No, 3 quick goals from the Rangers. And we're going to overtime. We choke it. A 3-goal lead with 10 minutes to go. And we allow 3 goals in the final 10 minutes, now making it a 4-4 game. In the span of 4 minutes, actually, we allow those 3 goals. Shots are 40-32 for the Rangers. John Gibson was doing so well, and then we just hang him out to dry. Penalties, high sticking from Larkin, delay of game from Radish. And now we're headed to overtime. Here we go, moving in. It's an elimination game, so unfortunately, we have to go see it. Oh no, a goal for the Rangers sends them to round 2. A goal for us pushes this series to 6 back in Detroit. Here at Madison Square Garden for the first overtime. Let's go ahead and just fix up the sliders as we always do. Carry the puck, shoot it, and have energy. I don't care if you're efficient, and block the puck. Don't just let them walk in. So that's going to be my strategy here. We're going to say carry, shoot, energy, block for every line. Yeah, will the AI allow your goalie to see the shot? Yeah, so much so that they literally back up and say, please, after you, as they skate in to these high danger areas. Everybody carry, everybody shoot. I would say dump if they actually knew how to retrieve. They dump, but they don't retrieve. Therefore, just carry. Why bother dumping if you can't retrieve? So carry, shoot, energy, forget efficiency. And we're going to have to, and also block when you can. Face off won by the Rangers. Lafreniere into Detroit territory to Gavrikov from the point. Can't get it. There you go. Seider. Fyodorov. Oh, wait. Here comes Larkin. 2-on-1. Larkin is going to squander it. Fyodorov in front. Hit before anything can get going. Raymond repossesses it, though. Seider. Sending Palika. Stopped by Shesterkin. Offensive zone draw. 1 back by the Rangers. Gavrikov. Broken up by Raymond. Larkin. There you go. Fyodorov. Can't get the shot away, though, to Fox. No one's pressing. That's the problem. No urgency. Big. There you go. That's what we're looking for. Lost his stick. Went all the way to the blue line. Take advantage. Come on. Kasper, please take advantage. And a little shot from the blue line. Hold on, Kasper. Rebound his own rebound blocker save. Oh, my goodness. Fyodorov, Raymond still with it. Short angle blocker save again. At least we're getting things going. That's what we want to see in the in-game sim. Broken up there. Casper. All right, here we go. Sandin Palika, who's still out there. ASP into the corner to Casper. Was that blocked or a piece of it by Shesterkin? I'm not sure. Casper gets it behind the net, looking in front. Come on, look at him. Fyodorov, look at Raymond, who's still out there. The first liner has no energy. Fyodorov still out there. A weak shot. Raymond, they have no energy. To the point. Sandin Palika behind his back to Sider. Casper, Fyodorov, backhand. Stopped by Shesterkin with no energy. My goodness, they're out there a long time. Recently gets it back though. Reese's Pieces on net, Tuukka. And no shot goes away as the Rangers defenseman, who was skating too close for comfort, just made the puck leave his stick. Edmondson off the boards. There you go to Wheels. Here he is, Kevin Fiala. Kevin can't even take a shot just because Emery got in his way. He still tried to shoot it with a body in front of him, like literally between him and the puck. Oh, toe save Gibson. Fiala in the neutral zone just skates into bodies. They're just skating into each other. Oh my goodness, Perrault, Lafreniere, Trocheck doesn't take a shot, goes into the corner. Lafreniere redirects it on net, good save Gibson. Perrault to the point, Morrow, board pinned by Raymond. Here you go, Larkin, but no, he gives it away. Trocheck. Now Perrault to the point, Schneider, shot from distance, glove save Gibson, and he'll hang on. Offensive zone draw from Mr. Faceoff himself, Ryan O'Reilly, who loses it, but keeps fighting. Hold on, ROR, can he get possession? Yes, Aho, Fiala to the point, Carlson. Look for him. There he is. Edmondson! Oh! Was that, I don't know if a piece of the net, off the side of the net, got that after a redirection from Shesterkin, but almost found its way through. Edstrom's going to dump that one in now. Into the corner. Picked up by Carlson. Behind the net. O'Reilly. Look for the outlet. He's right there. He's right there. Thank you. Fiala with Aho. Skating in. Fiala lets it go. Horrible shot that doesn't even get off the ice. Easy save for Shesterkin, who was already in butterfly. Breakaway for Edstrom now. Coming the other way! Scores! No coverage. No coverage as per usual. And the Rangers win in 5 games. What an embarrassing series. What happened here in overtime that he found himself on a breakaway? This pass right here. 2 defensemen watching him. And somehow, Carlson just, no problem, go right by me. Sandin Palika was nowhere close. Breakaway, let me guess, it was a little forehand, no, it stayed to the forehand. It was forehand, backhand, right? There you go. Just a little flip over the blocker. No problem. I'm sorry, it was Edvinson. Not Sandin Palika. There you go. Skate right by. Yeah, don't even extend your arms. Don't even extend your arms. Just give him a little kiss goodbye, and there you go. A little goodnight kiss as he blows by. Shots end 47-41. The scoring could not come through. We needed the most, and we choked a 4-1 lead to lose 5-4 in Game 5. The game just wasn't in our favor for the scoring. I loaded up the PlayStation at the wrong hour of the day, I guess. And the scoring was not in our favor. Sandin Palika, 7 points in 5 games. He has arrived. Raymond, 6 in 5. Fyodorov, 4 points, 3 goals, especially as a first liner in 2 games, but 4 points in 5 games. Larkin, 1 goal, 3 points. Carlson, 3 points, -4. Casper, 2 points. ROR, 1 point. Bernardocker, 1 point. Radish, 1 point. Cowan, 1 point. 0 points from Edmondson, Ferraro, Sider, Fiala, Aho, Risanen, Labushkin, Sierra, Dower, Nilsson. Look at all of those zeros. -5 from Risanen. -4 from Sierra. Did we give the young guys too big of a role too quickly? Risanen needing to play those first line minutes? Aho, 0 points, -3. Truly embarrassing. Truly embarrassing. Gibson, 1 overtime loss, 893 save percentage. Don't worry about the goals against average, and that's such a small sample size. 893 save percentage in that one game. Having to face 47 shots, I'm not even mad. Augustine, 916 save percentage, 2.8 goals against average, 1-3 record. Wallstedt, 2 goals on 9 shots, then got injured. This was not our postseason. This was just not our time. This was not it. Then a couple injuries to boot. it was not meant to be here, sadly. But what are we going to do with these guys who had all the zeros? Just run it back and hope for more growth? A 44-point season from Aho, followed up by a 0-point postseason? Oof, the AGM comments are going to be feisty. But that's that. The Scouts are set. We're going home as Stanley Cup champions after a round 1 exit. The only team in the East to lose in 5 games. I'm shocked. Like I said at the beginning, I anticipated goaltending to be okay and maybe we'll have problems with our top 6 scoring, but not throughout the entire lineup, and there's only Raymond and Fyodorov who can score for us, and the defense has to carry the scoring. I guess I kind of predicted it in one way, but I wasn't expecting it at all in another. So that's that. We simmed the draft, and we start to think about our off-season plan, moving into what will be year number 5. And your 2029 Stanley Cup champions are the New York Islanders. How about that? After we were just on Long Island in our NHL 25 series, and Vegas jumps from 2-1, San Jose drops from 1-2, and Seattle jumps from 13-3 in the draft lottery. I wonder if they'd be open to moving that pick now, but I think we've made enough big trades for picks in recent years. Retired players here in 2029. Ryan O'Reilly, I kind of half expected it. I'm a little bit surprised with 1 year left on his contract. He did drop to a 78 overall. So you know what? That's actually a huge relief. He dropped to a 78 and was still going to be making $5 million, 5.075 next year. So that's kind of a huge benefit to us. So Ryan O'Reilly calling it a career, 1,077 points in 1,480 games. He got his Stanley Cup, he got his Selke, his Conn Smythe, his Lady Byng. That worked out great. So Ryan O'Reilly, thanks for taking one for the team and great, best of luck in retirement. Brad Marchand also retires at the age of 41, 1,191 points. Jamie Benn retires. Erik Karlsson, Corey Perry at the age of 44. Jeff Skinner, former Detroit Red Wing Jeff Skinner with a Stanley Cup to his name. Mark Stone, Jordan Stahl, Chris Kreider, etc., 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 all retiring. Goaltenders retiring. Oops, sorry, wrong way. And Jeff Petrie retires after getting a cup with the Islanders. Calvin Pickard, Brassois, Copley, and Tompkins all retiring there. All right, so Ryan O'Reilly retires. Only one here from Detroit, which works out really well for us. Doesn't look like there's any coach retirement. Oh, wait, actually, Wade McChesney and Robinson Champion, both retiring. 2 coaches retiring, so you have to keep that in mind. Did I say that Jimmy Benn was also a coach now? All right, and now here we are at the draft. Okay, so quickly, let's see the awards and how the playoff tree shook out. The Islanders beat the Rangers in the Battle of New York in a 7-game series. So the Islanders took down the Blue Jackets in 6. Underdog matchup there, then beat the Rangers, underdog again in 7, beat the Canadiens, underdog once more in 7, and finally taking down the Minnesota Wild in 6 games in the Stanley Cup final. I bet as underdogs again. Really something. Congrats to the Islanders on doing that, as the Stanley Cup stays in the East in back-to-back years now. President's Trophy went to Tampa. Minnesota versus New York in the Stanley Cup final. Individual awards, Art Ross goes to Willie Nee. Hart also going to Nylander. James Norris to Cale Makar for the 3rd straight year and 4 of the last 5. Lady Byng to Nylander. Calder to Fyodorov. Yes, there you go. We weren't sure, but yes, Victor Fyodorov pulls off the Calder Trophy with his 25-goal season. Awesome. Conn Smythe to Cole Goal Yzerman, Data 782 Hall of Famer for my Islanders series in NHL 25. Vezina to Jacob Fowler. I'd love to see that in the real world. Jennings to Vasilevsky. Masterton to Graves. Jack Adams to Huska in Calgary. Really? The Frank J. Selke goes to Dylan Larkin. Now, that is a very rare award to win. I believe somewhere in the data archives that Hobbsy put together, I think the Selke is, aside from the Masterton and the Jack Adams, which are both scams, I think the Selke is the rarest award that we have in our cabinet. Ted Lindsay to Nylander and Maurice Richard to Matthews in back-to-back years. Wow. Then for the AHL, anything in Grand Rapids? Negative. I wonder, just looking at the player stats of the entire league, especially for the Islanders, if we look at entire league here, Yzerman 16 goals and 29 points. How about that? Marco Rossi 27 and 19, still with Minnesota in this universe. Kaprizov, Tuck, Ross Colton had 14 goals and 23 points. Caulfield with the Canadiens, yes. All right. So now comes the off-season plan moving into the draft. Off-season focuses, let me know. Progress reports. Let's check this out. Sorting by overall. John Carlson jumps from an 88 to a 90 overall. I'm sure he'll go back down, though, with his top 4 deep potential. 1 more year on his contract. Does John Carlson stay, or do we trade him as a 90 overall at the height of his value that it'll be at this point? and get different defensemen in our system? I don't know. Wallstedt up to an 89. Edvinsson, 87. Fiala's gone. We know that. He'll walk. Radish, 86. Semyon Pelika, 86. Cowan, we know that. Fyodorov up to an 84. Anything else? Sierra, 81. From an 82, he dropped down. And in the system, Carter Bear still at a 78. Petrov up to a 77. Marcus Petrov, low elite potential, scoring 39 points in Russia. Yeah, he'll get his AHL minutes next season. Very nice with low elite potential. Anyone else with big growth? Carter Waugh, 24. Corvo up to 71 overall. Richmond, Ponikarovsky, Niemi. Okay, there are the progress reports for you. Draft class. So at the draft board, we have our first, no second, then our third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and Philadelphia's seventh. So our pick in round one is the 23rd overall selection. If we were to pick in that area, we see a lot of medium elites in the top 5. Anything else? Medium elite defensive defenseman, Gordy Vandermeer, 17-year-old who's 3 years away at 14. Medium elite Lebedev, power forward, 3 years away, Ukrainian. That's interesting. If we pick at 23, it looks like it could be Marcel Gamanche, 2 years away, left-wing playmaker at 18. There's also Zachariah Cato, 3 years away, right-wing medium top 6 sniper. There is Thomas Janssen, 3 years away, 6'3" defensive defenseman, medium top 4 potential. Maybe even Davison, Harvey Davison. What a name. Harvey Davison, center right-wing sniper, 3 years away, medium top 6 potential. Fleury, Quincy, other guys with medium top 6 potential, 2-3 years away. There's also, let's see, Rob Kidd, 3 years away, medium top 6, and all these guys. So a lot of medium top 6 forwards or top 4D available. Top 6 forwards, of course, always in the early second round are out there too. Low elite Matt Vichuk, low elite power forward. Anybody else out here? Of course, always the medium elite goalies later on. This guy, Sammy Ordio, medium elite at 112. We'll absolutely get him. Should we take one of the goalies? Maybe. Low elite. Only Matvichuk, the only low elite we got fully scouted. Really? I'm surprised the scouts still have things that are sometimes left for you to wonder. Green and Blair, medium top 6s. Pat Green, 5 years away with medium top 6 potential, 18. Some low top 6s for us. Yeah, into the 80s and 90s. Top 4D at 85. Raphael Roux. 3 years away at 19 with top 4D potential, and low top 4Ds, a good number of low top 4Ds, especially this guy from France, William Ryan, low top 4D potential, and other guys, 60s, 90s, medium starter. All right, so there is the draft class for you. Now for the contracts, moving into next year, this is a big one for us to think about. Roster, forwards, first off, 1, 2, 3. If we were to say that Kevin Fiala walks a free agency, would trade his rights for a 6th round pick or something, 1, 2, 3, 4, Casper, 5, 6, Riesenen. There's our top 6. Cowan on the 3rd line with Fyodorov and Dower Nilsson. No, with Sierra. 4th line, still Dower Nilsson up to an 82. Sissons can come back as our 4th line center. And then in the system, there's Farrell, probably Carter Barras make the NHL or get traded at this point. Lombardi already has an offer sent to him? What? Since when? That's weird. I did not send any offers. That is odd. So again, looking at Kevin Fiala, I'm just curious as to what he'd be asking for. Maybe it's a sign and trade. He'd be looking at 1 year, 6.6. If we did 2 years, but no, it's nothing special that another team can't sign him for. So I don't think a sign and trade would make a lot of sense. Either we trade his rights or let him walk. But we could give an extension, we need to eventually, to Max Aho. He wants 4 by 8.5, which is honestly not bad. 4 years at 8.5, we can get it down to 8, maybe to 8 million, 4 by 8. Salary cap is, what, 116.5 million now. We have 37.3 million in cap space. 4 by 8 probably makes sense on Max Aho. So 4 by 8, hold on a second though. Would the forwards be that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then plus 12 in the system. That still leaves Dower Nilsson as a 4th liner. Is there someone else in the top 9 who moves, or is it just that Sierra joins that top 9 and everyone else stays the exact same? Now, defensively, if we look at the defensive core, John Carlson up to a 90 overall. Do we have to keep John Carlson at a 90 overall after scoring 74 points? Was it the second highest point total of his career? Yes, it was. it's hard not to keep John Carlson. And if we did, the defense becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, same top 4. But then the third pair, do we let Lyubushkin walk? And now it's Ferraro and Vico? And then 7th D is Bernard Docker? I could see that. Lyubushkin has been really good for us. He has been great, but he wants 1 year, $3 million. He's going to have to walk. Bernard Docker making 2.3, now wants 2.2. Yeah, so we could keep Bernard Docker as 7th D. Wieland, I'm not sure he's ever going to make the team. He's kind of just a signing for us. It's more, I think, Vico who has to make the team next year. So Vico joins the third pair. And we've been thinking about, okay, do we get a defensive defenseman to play with Axel Sandin Palika? That could be a benefit to us. But it's hard to pass up John Carlson, who just scored 74 points. He would be tradable starting July 1st with a 20-team no-trade list. Keep all of that in mind. That is a big question mark. And then for the goaltending, Wallstedt, Augustine, I would think that we run back the same tandem. Does John Gibson get a contract to stay as third goalie on the team? We could pay him league minimum to stay as third goalie. Guimont, Miller. Who do we sign here to play with Richmond? Richmond's going to get a contract, and I think we let Miller walk and sign Guimont. Guimont's numbers were really good. So Miller will walk, Guimont will be signed, Richmond will back him up in the AHL. Does Gibson stay as third goalie? That's a question mark. Unsigned players, we'll give contracts to Petrov, Corvo, Niemi, of course. And there you go. So there might not be that much to do over this offseason, ladies and gentlemen. We'll do the offseason. Probably that'll be the last episode before our little Christmas break. So, yeah, there shouldn't be too much to say. Now, who might the pending free agents be come July 1st? If we look at the UFAs and sort by overall, starting with the forwards, Rossi, Tavares, Sveshnikov, Cooley, Duchesne, Protas, Panarin, Hayton, Mercer, Crosby, Fiala, Monahan, Kurashev, Laine, etc., etc. And then for the defense, as our top defensive defenseman, there is Schneider, Brain Schneider, who could play with ASP if we swapped him to the left side, ASP that is. Maybe Nicholas Hague plays left. Adam Fox, offensive defenseman, he'll want ridiculous money that we just can't give. Or could we? I mean, we'll have like 37 million in cap space, right? Minus Aho's contract, still close to 30 million in cap space, and really not much to take care of. On July 1st, we can send out contracts right away on July 1st to, okay, now let's start giving those contracts to, let's see, Sandin Palika, Cowan, Risanen, Fyodorov. We'll need that money soon, but we could still sign maybe a big-name veteran on a one-year deal. Would there or might there be a veteran open to that? If you look again at the UFAs and look at the ages of these guys, John Tavares might be open to a big one-year deal. Matt Duchesne or Temi Panarin. Yeah, I could see it. Sidney Crosby even. But if you're suggesting that we do that, which is okay, you got to tell me the potential lineup and who's in, who's out. Because that's already with Dower. You can't say, okay, we'll just move out Dower Nilsson. Well, he's a fourth liner. We need to trade someone in our top 9 if we're bringing in a top 9 forward. That's what we got to do. That's a tough one. That is really, really tough. So draft thoughts, contract thoughts, free agent thoughts, and I'll leave you there, ladies and gentlemen, moving into the 2029 draft and offseason next episode. Thank you for being here. Leave a like if you haven't already, and of course, subscribe if you haven't already. We have all of our new series going on here on the channel. If you haven't seen already, our new live stream series on Thursday evenings with the Boston Bruins has started up. The Big Bad Bruins, where we're reviving their Big Bad image. We're live Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays right now. Holiday break coming up, but live 3 times a week, franchise modes and all that. So subscribe and hit that bell. If you hit that bell, you have been notified when the Quinn Hughes trade went in. The Discord server had it first, and within a couple minutes, we were live here on the channel. That's why it is to your benefit to do so, and I hope that you will. Join the team as an AGM to get your thoughts in on YouTube or in the Discord server, and also consider becoming a channel member, as I believe we're 1 away from 25. That'll be a great way to end off 2025 by getting a 25th channel member. Exclusive perks for you here on YouTube and in the Discord server, so consider doing that. A couple dollars a month. It goes a long way, and I appreciate, once again, you being here, and I can't wait to read all your thoughts moving into the 2029 off-season after much disappointment from the offensive contributors that we were hoping to see. So sharpen your pitchforks, sharpen your pencils, get your suggestions in. I look forward to seeing you in the next one, where we'll begin moving towards year number 5.
nicht diese Töne, sondern lasst uns angenehmere anstimmen und
des Himmels prächtigen Land laufen Brüder auf.